Manchester United fans, I am coming to your defense. Well, not to all of your defense because half of you probably want Ten Hag out. I wanted to make this video because I wanted to chat a little bit about today's match, Brighton versus Manchester United. Very entertaining match, which is not something I can say typically when I talk about Manchester United. The reason why this video is titled the way it is because I truly believe that there's going to be some changes to Manchester United and Ten Hag needs a little bit more time. And I can't believe I'm saying this right now as an Arsenal fan when just last season I wanted him out. But I did say in the podcast, I've recently said that Ineos, Ratcliffe are going to come in. They're going to make changes. And in a matter of 3 to 5 years, Manchester United is once again going to be one of the top teams in the Premier League. I think previous to Ineos coming in, Ten Hag's beginning of his journey, I can say for the majority of people out there will agree that Manchester United had one of the most boring styles of play in the entire Premier League. You couldn't tell what they were trying to do. There was no system. There was no style. They had overpaid for players who are just not good, not enough quality. And from the first 2 games in the season, I feel like Manchester United so far has turned that perception around quite a bit. Now, opening game, Manchester United gets the victory. Second game against a very tough opponent in Brighton, a team that I think with a really good manager, some very good players, fantastic style of play, fantastic development. I think Brighton should be considered one of the top 6 or 7 teams in the Premier League at the moment. So any match against them is going to be difficult. However, that being said, I think Manchester United has to accept that they have fallen off quite a bit. They're no longer one of the big clubs when it comes to the performance and the results and the competitiveness, but they are going to get back to that under Ineos. I truly believe that. And here's what I think actually happened. And this might be a conspiracy. We might have to add this to the conspiracy theory segment. But what I think happened is there was a lot of uncertainty in the offseason whether Ten Hag was going to be part of the Ineos project, whether he was going to be the man to lead Manchester United forward. I think Sir Ratcliffe and Ineos sat down with Ten Hag and they said, if we're going to go with you as our manager to change this, to turn this project around, at the very least, what we need to see is a more entertaining style of football than what you're showing right now. Because it's hard to back someone who's not getting results when you can't even tell what they're trying to do. And I think it's clear from watching the match, Manchester United, really good passing, technical, counter-attacking football, direct but not too direct. They weren't playing long balls. There was some really good combinations, some really good quick passing to get players in behind. And I think with some of the players that you guys have on the roster, I think it presents a really good future for Manchester United. I don't think it's fully polished yet. I think of players like Ahmad, who's a very good player, obviously scored the goal. He's got something to him. He's got creativity. He's quick. He can cut inside. He can finish. He's not fully there yet. I think that's a much better player than Anthony. I think Garnacho is now got a little bit more experience. He's no longer just a young kid who's coming up into the team. I think now he's got a lot of experience. He's going to play a bigger role for Manchester United. You got Kobe Mainoo, who's one of the most promising talents in all of England. Fantastic player. And then you're pairing him up with someone as experienced as Casemiro, who he can learn off of. I think that's only going to make him better. Bruno Fernandes seems to have found a good role for him, where I think he's been quiet in the last couple of seasons. So I really do think watching Manchester United, such an entertaining match, that Ten Hag has decided to at least switch up the style of play so that there's some sort of a purpose, but at the very least it's entertaining. And for that reason and that reason alone, I think Manchester United should not sack him. I think they should wait a little bit, see how these results come about, because I think the results are going to be there. Obviously, Brighton's a very difficult team against mid-table teams to lower level. I fully expect that Manchester United has no problems with most of these teams, and I do truly believe that they will be fighting for the top 5 spots in the Premier League this season, as long as they continue to play the way that they've been playing. Let me know if you guys agree. If you watched the first 2 games of Manchester United, was it entertaining? Was it just 2 games and if they're going to go back to their style? Is the fact that they've benched Anthony one of the best decisions that they've made recently? Obviously, signing De Ligt, trying to get De Ligt a little bit of playing time, most likely going to be the replacement for one of the 2 center backs. And then you got players like Xerxes, who just got signed and is a player that is obviously going to make an impact for you. He already did in game 1. I think it's a transitional year for Manchester United. Let me know if you guys agree. And I think ultimately the bottom line is the fact that Manchester United has to realize that they are no longer anywhere near what they used to be under Sir Alex Ferguson, and they have to do the same thing that Liverpool, Arsenal, and who else? For sure, Liverpool and Arsenal have done, which is accept that there needs to be a long transitional period, a rebuild, if you will, and that will lead to success in a few years. But it will not be immediate results, although I do think towards the end of the season we'll see that Manchester United has definitely improved over last season. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think.